Ladies and gentlemen, you see most people spend their whole lives chasing things that don't really matter. They chase money, they chase validation, they chase status. But when it's all said and done, they discover something powerful. Life's greatest treasures are rarely the things you can touch. They're the things that touch you. Let me tell you something. The older you get, the clearer it becomes. Success without purpose is just motion without meaning. So today I want to share with you 10 things that tier a while matter in life, because when you master these, you don't just live long, you live well. You see, most people never reach their true potential, not because they lack talent, but because they let fear sit in the driver's seat of their destiny. Fear has a way of whispering lies that sound like truth. You're not ready. You're not qualified. What if you fail? But faith speaks louder. Faith says, I may not see it yet, but I believe it's already mine. That's the difference between the people who dream about success and the people who live it. One group listens to fear, the other walks by faith. Let me tell you something powerful. Fear will always show up when you're about to do something great. That's its job, to test your belief before your breakthrough. But faith doesn't wait for the fear to disappear. Faith moves in spite of fear. It's not the absence of fear. It's the decision to keep going even when your knees are shaking. Some of you are waiting for the perfect moment, but there is no perfect moment. There's only now. And if you don't move in faith today, fear will keep you locked in the same place tomorrow. The enemy of your future isn't failure, it's hesitation. Every time you let fear talk you out of taking action, you lose ground that faith was trying to give you. Faith is a muscle. It grows when you use it. When you trust even when the outcome is uncertain, you're building spiritual strength. And here's the truth. God doesn't require you to see the whole staircase. He just needs you to take the first step. That step might be scary, it might be small, but it's significant because every step in faith builds momentum, and momentum breaks limitations. Let's get real. Fear will always sound logical. It will use facts, your past failures, your current circumstances, and even the opinions of people around you to justify why you should play small. But faith doesn't listen to facts, faith listens to truth. The truth is, you were not created to be average. You were designed with divine purpose and equipped with everything you need to win. The moment you start believing that, really believing that, fear loses its power over you. Here's the hook. Faith is not pretending that problems don't exist. Faith is knowing that problems can't stop what God has already planned. Faith says, even if I fall, I'll rise again. Even if I'm delayed, I'm not denied. Even if I'm broke today, I'm still rich in potential. You see, the world teaches you to trust what you can see, but real power comes when you trust what you can't. That's when miracles happen. That's when doors open that logic can't explain. Every successful person you admire today made a decision at some point to trust the unseen. They started with nothing but belief. Faith took them where fear could never go. When I look at my own journey, I can tell you, faith turned my pain into purpose, my setbacks into setups, and my doubts into destiny. It didn't happen overnight, but every time I chose to believe instead of back down, something shifted in my spirit. Some of you have dreams that scare you, and that's a good thing. If your dream doesn't make you a little nervous, it's not big enough. The presence of fear is not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's proof that you're walking towards something significant. You just have to decide which voice to listen to. Will you let fear dictate your decisions, or will you let faith direct your destiny? So here's the truth. You can't walk into your promise while you're still holding hands with your fear. You can't expect new results with old doubts. Faith requires action. You don't need all the answers to start. You just need the courage to move. The first step always looks risky, but the risk is what activates the reward. When you step out in faith, you're telling the universe, I'm ready. And the moment you declare that, the resources, the people, and the opportunities begin to align with your belief. Faith over fear, that's not just a phrase, it's a lifestyle. It's waking up every morning and choosing to believe that your vision is valid, your calling is real, and your potential is limitless. Because when you walk in faith, you stop chasing possibilities and start creating them. And when you believe that everything is working for you, even the things that seem against you, that's when you become unstoppable. You see, the greatest tragedy in life isn't failure, it's success without purpose. So many people are chasing applause, likes, followers, and fame, thinking that validation equals value. But popularity is temporary, purpose is eternal. The truth is you can be famous and still feel forgotten. You can be celebrated and still feel empty. Because when your life isn't anchored to purpose, you'll always be tossed around by the opinions of others. You'll live trying to impress people who don't even care if you succeed. But when you discover your why, you stop performing and start becoming. Here's the hook. You were never designed to fit in, you were designed to stand out. And when you live for purpose, you stop living for permission. See, the problem isn't that people don't have dreams. It's that their dreams aren't theirs. They're borrowed from what society says they should want. But purpose doesn't come from the world's approval. It comes from divine assignment. When you find your purpose, You no longer chase what's popular because you understand popularity is about what people think of you. Purpose is about what God thinks through you. People chase popularity because it feels good to be noticed. But notice without impact is nothing more than noise. You can trend for a moment and still mean nothing when the moment passes. Purpose, on the other hand, creates legacy. It builds something that lasts beyond your lifetime. The world claps for fame, but heaven celebrates faithfulness. You weren't put here to be known by everyone. You were put here to make a difference for someone. When you walk in purpose, rejection doesn't break you. It redirects you. Every no becomes a push toward your assignment. That's why purpose-driven people don't crumble when life gets hard, they grow. Because they understand that pain often points to purpose. The thing that hurt you most might be the very thing you were born to heal in others. Some of your greatest gifts will come wrapped in struggle. That's why you can't curse what God designed to shape you. Let me tell you something. Popularity makes you visible, but purpose makes you valuable. When you live for applause, you'll die when it stops. But when you live for purpose, you'll thrive even in silence. Purpose gives you peace when others misunderstand you, strength when others doubt you, and fire when others quit. And that's why not everyone will get you, because what's divine about your calling can't be explained to those who only see things from a surface level. Here's another truth. Your purpose will often demand isolation before elevation. You might have to walk alone for a season. You might have to say no to things everyone else is saying yes to. But that's because you're being prepared, not punished. Every great person you admire had to go through a season where they were unseen. Don't confuse being hidden with being forgotten. Diamonds are made in the dark. Purpose takes time to mature. The world tells you to follow the crowd. Purpose tells you to follow conviction. The crowd will cheer you on when you do what's easy, but they'll disappear when you start doing what's right. That's why you can't let popularity define your path. The greatest leaders, innovators, and changemakers were never the most liked. They were the most consistent. They didn't bend to opinions. They stood on principles. They understood that temporary criticism is a small price to pay for eternal impact. Here's the hook. Your calling will always be louder than your comfort. There will be moments when you feel tired, overlooked, or unqualified. But if you stay true to your purpose, the same people who doubted you will one day be inspired by you. Because purpose has a way of proving what popularity can't. When your actions align with your assignment, even the storms can't stop you. So keep your eyes on the mission, not the mirrors. Don't chase recognition, chase revelation. Don't live to be seen, live to serve. Because in the end, it won't matter how many people knew your name. What will matter is how many lives were changed because you showed up and walked in purpose. Growth is not a comfortable process. It's a courageous one. You see, most people say they want success, but they secretly want it to be easy. They pray for elevation, but run from evolution. Yet here's the truth. You can't get to your next level living at your current one. Growth demands discomfort, and discomfort is the birthplace of greatness. If you're not being stretched, you're not being strengthened. The same heat that melts wax-hardened steel and life's challenges are designed to reveal what you're truly made of. The hook is this: growth begins where comfort ends. The comfort zone feels safe, but it's also where dreams go to die. You can't expect new results with old habits. You can't become more while staying the same. Every time life pushes you into something uncomfortable, it's not punishment, it's preparation. Growth doesn't come dressed in opportunity, it comes disguised as obstacles. The question isn't whether life will challenge you, it's whether you'll rise to meet the challenge. The moment you decide to grow, resistance will show up. It might come through fear, failure, or frustration. But that resistance is not a sign to quit. It's confirmation you're on the right path. Pressure is proof that something powerful is being produced inside of you. Diamonds aren't formed without pressure, and muscles don't grow without tension. So if you're feeling stretched right now, don't run from it. Lean into it, because every uncomfortable season is shaping a version of you that comfort could never create. Let me tell you something. Growth requires letting go. You can't hold on to who you were and become who you're meant to be. You have to release old mindsets, toxic relationships, limiting beliefs, and excuses that keep you small. The weight you're carrying might not be physical, it might be mental or emotional. But the moment you let it go, you create room for something greater. Transformation doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice. Here's another hook. The pain you're avoiding might be the very thing that unlocks your potential. Growth doesn't ask for your permission, it demands your participation. It asks you to show up when you're tired, to keep going when you're uncertain, and to believe when you have every reason to doubt. You can't pray for strength and expect comfort at the same time. Strength only comes through struggle. Every tear, every setback, every hard lesson is shaping the warrior inside you. Most people stop growing because they confuse being busy with being better. Growth is not about activity, it's about advancement. You can work hard and still not move forward if you're working in the wrong direction. Real growth requires reflection, looking at who you are becoming, not just what you are achieving. Sometimes it means slowing down long enough to ask yourself, am I evolving or am I just existing? Because existing is automatic, but growing is intentional. When you commit to growth, You stop competing with others and start challenging yourself. You understand that the only real comparison worth making is between who you were yesterday and who you are today. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet discipline, consistent effort, and silent endurance. Growth happens in moments when no one's watching, when you choose to keep your standards high even when it would be easier to settle. Let's get real. The version of you that's coming next is going to require sacrifices. You'll have to leave behind comfort, approval, and even some people who no longer align with your vision. But don't fear the process. Every step that feels heavy is building your strength. Every test that feels unfair is sharpening your faith. Growth is never wasted, because it's always working for your future. And here's the final hook. If you want to live a life that most people dream about, you must be willing to grow in ways most people avoid. Growth hurts before it helps. It challenges before it changes, and it stretches you before it strengthens you. But on the other side of that struggle is a version of you that you've never met, stronger, wiser, more disciplined, and more unstoppable than ever before. Growth isn't about reaching perfection, it's about becoming powerful. Because when you choose growth over comfort, you stop surviving life and start transforming it. Integrity is the quiet power that builds empires from the inside out. You see, in a world where image is everything, integrity has become rare. People polish their appearance while their principles fade in the background. But the truth is, character will take you places charisma never can. You can impress people with your image, but you can only influence them with your integrity. The world may applaud the loud, the flashy, and the visible, but real success is built in silence on the foundation of values that don't shake when the spotlight fades. Here's the hook. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one's watching, but especially when everyone's watching and doing wrong. It's easy to look honest when it costs you nothing. The test comes when integrity costs you everything. When you choose truth over convenience, principles over popularity, you may lose a few opportunities, but you gain something greater, peace. And peace is the kind of wealth that no amount of fame can buy. The problem with image is that it fades the moment reality shows up. You can curate a persona, filter your flaws, and project perfection. But if what's inside you doesn't match what you show the world, eventually the cracks will show. Integrity doesn't need a filter. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't perform for likes. It stands for what's right. The greatest leaders aren't the ones with the loudest voices. They're the ones whose actions align with their words even when no one is clapping. When you walk in integrity, you move differently. You don't have to chase opportunities. They start chasing you. People can feel authenticity. It's magnetic. Integrity builds trust, and trust builds influence. The truth is, people don't follow the most talented person. They follow the most trustworthy one. Your gift may open the door, but your integrity determines how long you get to stay in the room. Here's another hook. Shortcuts may get you there faster, but integrity keeps you there longer. Every time you compromise your character for convenience, you trade long-term impact for short-term gain, and that's too high a price to pay. You can't build a solid life on shaky principles. Eventually, the foundation will give way. Integrity may slow you down at first, but it ensures that what you build actually lasts. Sometimes integrity means standing alone. It means walking away from opportunities that don't align with your values. It means keeping promises even when no one remembers you made them. That kind of strength doesn't make headlines, but it makes history. Because when the storms come, and they will, it's your integrity that keeps you standing when everything else falls apart. The real test of integrity isn't in comfort, it's in crisis. When pressure hits, when temptation knocks, when the easy path looks appealing, that's when integrity speaks the loudest. It's that still, small voice that says, don't trade your purpose for a moment of pleasure. Don't sell your soul for something that won't satisfy. And every time you listen to that voice, you become stronger, sharper, and more unshakable. Let me tell you something. The reward of integrity isn't always immediate, but it's always inevitable. God honors those who walk uprightly. Doors will open not because you manipulated them, but because your name carries weight. People will trust you not because of your title, but because of your truth. And that kind of respect can't be bought. It's earned one honest decision at a time. Here's the truth. Image fades with time, but integrity grows with time. The longer you live it, the louder it speaks. Integrity is legacy in motion. Long after people forget your achievements, they'll remember how you treated them, how you stood for what was right when it wasn't easy. Every decision you make writes a line in the story of your character. The question is, will that story inspire or disappoint? The hook is this: image can make you look good, but integrity makes you be good. And when who you are privately matches who you are publicly, that's when you become unstoppable. Because integrity doesn't just build a reputation, it builds a foundation that no failure, no rumor, no storm can destroy. It's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. When you choose integrity over image, you don't just shine for a moment, you stand for a lifetime. Legacy isn't about what you leave behind, it's about what you leave within. You see, most people spend their lives chasing luxury, collecting things that time will eventually take away. But the truth is, no one remembers you for what you owned. They remember you for what you gave, how you lived, and who you became. Luxury fades, but legacy echoes. The car will rust, the house will crumble, the money will pass through other hands, but the impact of your life, that's eternal. That's what outlives you. Here's the hook. Luxury impresses the world, but legacy changes it. The world will always try to convince you that success is about accumulation, but real success is about contribution. The question isn't, how much did I make? It's, how many lives did I touch? Every great man or woman who ever walked this earth left a mark, not because of what they had, but because of what they gave. You don't build legacy by chasing success. You build it by serving purpose. The truth is, legacy starts long before you die. It starts the moment you decide to live with intention. Every word you speak, every act of kindness, every person you help, you're writing your legacy right now. You don't need to be rich to leave a legacy. You need to be real. The way you love your family, the way you lead your team, the way you rise after failure, all of it becomes part of the story people will tell about you long after you're gone. Here's another hook. Luxury is about status, but legacy is about significance. You can buy status, but you can't buy significance. Significance is earned through sacrifice. Luxury serves you, legacy serves others. There's nothing wrong with having nice things, but when the pursuit of things replaces the purpose of your life, you've traded destiny for decoration. You weren't created just to collect trophies. You were created to create transformation. Let me tell you something. Legacy is built in the moments no one sees. It's built when you choose to act with integrity instead of taking the easy way out. It's built when you forgive when it would be easier to fight. It's built when you give even when you don't have much to spare. Every small act of greatness compounds into something eternal. The seeds you plant today will become the shade someone else rests under tomorrow. You don't need a platform to make an impact. You need purpose. Some of the greatest legacies were built by people who never had their names in lights, but had love in their hearts. They raised children who became leaders, mentored people who changed generations, and lived lives that inspired others to be better. Legacy is about leaving the world a little brighter because you were here. Here's the truth. Luxury is loud, but legacy speaks long after the noise fades. You can't take your possessions with you, but you can leave behind principles that shape the future. The world measures wealth by what you keep. Heaven measures it by what you give. The most powerful thing you can ever pass on is wisdom. When you teach someone how to rise above their pain, to think bigger, to believe in themselves, you've already built something greater than money could ever buy. And here's the hook. Legacy isn't built at the top of the mountain. It's built in the climb. It's built in the struggle, in the consistency, in the way you keep showing up even when no one's clapping. Luxury might make people admire you, but legacy makes people follow you. Luxury fades when the trend changes, but legacy grows stronger with time. It multiplies through every life you've touched, every heart you've lifted, every person you've helped believe again. So when you wake up every day, ask yourself, am I building comfort or am I building contribution? Because luxury might fill your house, but legacy fills your soul. Luxury makes you rich in possessions. Legacy makes you rich in purpose. The truth is, one day your name will be spoken in past tense. What do you want people to say? That you lived for yourself or that you lived for something greater? Because at the end of the journey, luxury dies with you, but legacy begins where you end. Would you like me to now create the YouTube subscription, timestamps, hashtags, keywords, and tags for this full motivational speech? 10 things that TUI matter in life in Myron Golden style. So here's my challenge to you. Stop chasing temporary applause and start building eternal impact. The things that truly matter, faith, family, purpose, growth, gratitude. They're not loud, but they're lasting. Don't live to impress people. Live to inspire them. Don't strive to be successful, strive to be significant, because when you focus on what truly matters, success becomes a natural byproduct of your purpose. So today, choose to live on purpose. Choose faith over fear. Choose character over comfort. And remember, the richest life is not the one with the most possessions, but the one with the most meaning.